Some of the worst men today, in my opinion and my experience, are the emotionally unavailable ones. And until you become hip to their cycle and their scheme, this is how they get you. They come on strong, really intense. They seemingly come off to want the same things that you do. They start to mirror your desires and what it is that you want. But as soon as you get into the thick of it and things have to get serious and they have to commit and they have to be vulnerable and they have to open up and they have to get into like a real connection, oh, they start going hot and cold. The distance starts to happen. Then they hit you with the, oh, you know, things from my past. This is why I act like that. Blah, 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 blah. Like, sir, you're 50. You're 45. You're 35. You mean to tell me you haven't gone to therapy and dealt with these things already? Give me a break. And then what they'll do is they'll try to breadcrumb you as if you are a woman that sits at a table that you're starving. As if. And let's not... And they try to keep just enough connection to be like, you know, that they still have like a hold on you. Baby, let me tell you, when I say I'm the queen of cutting somebody off, this man once told me, he said, what is it? You can't leave me alone? Baby, he never heard from me again. Don't let these men show. And that's why I always say date with discernment and see somebody out first, because everybody comes in hot and heavy giving their best in the beginning, right? Some people it's their best long term. Some people it's their best short term. Some people it's just a full facade. But the reality of it is, wait these things out, because they gonna show you who they are. But these are the worst men, because as women we're naturally nurturers. So we actually and if you're not in a place where you're not trying to fix people, you'll get into a mind space of, well, you know, maybe he just hasn't been loved the right way, or maybe he just needs this. No, he doesn't. You are not his mama. You are not his therapist. That grown man needs to go sit down and deal with his issues, or he's going to end up like the lonely old men that are in the nursing homes and don't nobody come to see him. And you know whose fault it's going to be? It's going to be theirs. Emotionally available men are so much better to deal with, because they understand creating a safe space for you. They understand vulnerability, and they're not only a safe space for you to be vulnerable, but they know how to be vulnerable, and they also know how to make you feel okay being vulnerable. And also another thing, when it comes to emotionally available men, they are actually real leaders. They don't do tit for tat. They don't feed into your energy. So as women, yes, we are emotional. Sometimes we might have an outburst. It happens. They're not going to try to match your energy. They're strong enough. They're grounded enough to say, hey, it seems like you're a little excited. Maybe let's take a step back. Or they've paid enough attention to know how to help regulate you back to your space. Because at the end of the day, I think men need to remember that we are the weaker vessel. So we're not going to come into a relationship just having it all together. You're called to be the leader. Yes, we have to do our own work, but we are still going to be considered the weaker vessel. And an emotionally available man, an emotionally safe man, a safe man in general, because y'all know I love to talk about a good safe man. They know how to lead a woman in any stage or season of her life. Men have the power to put a woman in a place where she feels safe. But a lot of these men aren't safe, never felt safe, and don't know how to deal with their own crap. So then they dump it on other people. So yeah, I could go on and on. I remember this one time, this guy actually told me, he told on himself. And that's another thing too. If you a woman of prayer, people tell on themselves. Like, I'm always like, God, show me what I need to see up front, because my discernment, you gonna end up telling on yourself just because of the God in me. And he was on the phone with me. He said, yeah, my homeboy said that I paint the dream for women. And I just sat there on the phone and I said, this fool literally just told me his game plan. This was in the early stages of dating. I said, you literally just told me your game plan is if I'm not finna play this against you. Another day, another story. But nonetheless, what are your thoughts?